Today we'll be discussing some end-of-year reports, some additional or suggested reports that you can print. This one is going to be about product reports. We have a couple that we would recommend in the report module. If you don't have reports that you see on my screen, you may want to contact your office administrator to go under security and give access to any of the reports you might need. So in the report module, there's a couple different categories. I'm going to expand out client patient database report and choose client revenue report. And I'm going to click print. I get the option to do a date range. So being that this is going to be for a year-end report, I would want to include the entire year, making the starting date January 1st, and the ending, if you were doing this in December, would be about December 31st. Report gives some options of sorting, client account ID, client name, number of invoices, total invoices, ascending or descending, and if you want to limit the client totals invoiced greater than a certain dollar amount. I'm going to click preview. This is just a test account. It doesn't look like I have any. However, if I go into our help menu under help and index, and in the index tab, if I search reports, I get the list of all the report sections or categories. And it's a client revenue report is under the client patient database. I'm going to double click on that. And client revenue report here gives you a little explanation as to what the report is showing. So if I click on it, again, the preview screen that I had, the options and what they do, and then this is what the report view would look like. So it gives the client name, account number, invoice count, total invoice, average invoice. So it still gives you all the information that the sort by asks for. You can just pick which way you want to sort it. So right now it's by client name, so it'd be alphabetical. If I did number of invoices, this would be, again, depending on your direction, ascending or descending, so highest to lowest or lowest to highest, and the same for the invoice amount. So that is one report. Next report is going to be under log reports, invoice log. Click print. And again, do the same date range, so all the way to the first of the year to the end of the year. And this is just going to show you all of the products invoiced within that date range. So you have the option for practice. If you're multi-practice, you can select both. Select a specific employee or all employees, a specific operator or all operators. You can do a specific client if you'd like. If a client wants to get a list of all the items that they were invoiced, this potentially could be a report. We have a couple others that might work better though. And then your product range, if you want to look for all items, just make sure that the starting item is the very first item in your list, and the ending item is the very last item in your product list. And then if we preview, again, this is a data test database, so I don't really have a whole lot. But if I go back to our help menu, I'm just going to double click on the log option because it's a log report. And invoice log. Again, all of our options. And then this is what the report will look like. So it gives client name and patient name, product name and ID, date and time entered, type of action. So it does show when something's added to an estimate, when it's added to an invoice, when the invoice is concluded, operator and employee ID, date and time performed, and then the quantity and price of the item. So that is just the report. It would be pretty lengthy if you did it for the entire year, depending on how big your practice is. It's not necessary, but you can print it. Otherwise, if you'd like it, you can always export it to your year-end folder. Otherwise, at any point, you can come back and preview this report again because it does give you the date range option. So that is that one. Next report is going to be product reports, products invoiced by client, then print. Again, pick your date range. And this one might be the better report to print if a client asks what they all were invoiced. It doesn't have all that extra stuff about when it was added and concluded. You get your practice option, the client range if you wanted to and not see all clients, products invoice, stored, or both. You only get the stored in both options when date entered or date performs checked. The moment you go to date completed, it no longer allows you to select these two. You can only do invoice products, which are completed ones. You have the option to select by all products, a name range, name code, category, profit center, product type. So you can pick whatever options you might want if you want to narrow it down a little bit. Otherwise, just do all. And again, I don't have anything because mine's just a test. So I'm going to go back to our help menu just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So now I am under product report. So I'm just going to double click on that option. And the help menu is really nice. It gives you an explanation of all the reports. So you can find them all here. Even the ones that I'm not talking about right now, you can always come back and look at. Products invoiced by client, our preview screen that we had. And then this is what the report looks like. So you got your client name, patient, date, practice, if there's employee ID, category, product name, code, quantity, price, and then if there was tax, you'll just have the plus TX. It doesn't give you the tax calculation. You would have to know what your percentage for sales tax is and then be able to figure it out. So that is that report. And the last two that we're going to talk about are just setup reports. They're setup product reports. And then a price listing or product listing are the two that we would recommend. When I click print, these ones are setup reports, so you don't get that time or the date range. I'm going to print by category, product code, or name. I'm only going to do one just to kind of give you an idea of what the report looks like. I have the option to do one column or two. And when I preview the report, it shows me in the price listing, the product code name, category name, product ID, product name, and then the default price of the item. So if you want to print this prior to any price changes, you may do so. You can export it to your year-end folder so you have a before and after if needed. Because once you update the prices, this report will only show the updated price. It won't go back and show any previous amounts. And the other one is product listing. Looks very similar to the price listing. You get the same print by option. Again, I'm just going to do the one category. And this report gives you the option of still seeing the code, category code, product name. It gives you a little bit more information as to the base cost, unit price, packaging fee, and minimum price, which is anything that could calculate what the default price is. So it just gives you a little bit more information. So depending on what you'd like, those are the reports that you can use. So that is the end of this webinar. Thank you for watching.